What's up, Packers fans? Aaron Negler here with Cheesehead TV. That's right, another video about Aaron Rodgers and his decision and waiting on one. This time after hearing from Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, who indicated there is no deadline. The team will not give Rodgers a date they need a decision by while waiting for his decision to either return and play or ask to be traded or possibly retire. Gutekunst was asked a number of different ways, and he kept calling pretty much every question about Rodgers in the future a hypothetical, which I guess technically it kind of is. But it's very clear that Brian and the Packers want to give Aaron Rodgers as much time as he needs as we await his decision. The other questions obviously were about Davante Adams and the franchise tag. Clearly, Brian reiterating how much the Packers do not want to use the tag. They have pretty much never done it under Brian. They don't want to start doing it now with Davante. It is still a tool that they can utilize. Maybe they do so if push comes to shove. They get to that March 8th deadline and no long-term deal has been reached. Speaking of deals, Kenny Clark, clearly the news broke this morning that the Packers have touched his contract, to use Brian's words, creating about $10 million worth of cap space. Brian indicated you could probably expect a few more of those types of moves to be made as the Packers work to get under the salary cap by the March 16th deadline. One other interesting note, though, on that front from Brian is saying that this is not a fire sale. They will not be cutting a bunch of guys. That's his words, which I found pretty interesting because we all know they're going to have to make some hard choices, such as, say, Zadarius Smith, who, curiously enough, was not even asked about at the press conference. It sure feels like everyone just assumes he's gone. But Zadarius Smith, Mason Crosby, just a couple of the big names that could end up on the street if the Packers have to make those hard choices. But like Brian said, not a fire sale. They're not in a rebuild. And to that point, Tom Silverstein, I thought, asked the most important question, asking about, the Packers, who have always, forever, been a pay-as-you-go, fiscally responsible, especially when it comes to the salary cap, a team that operates very much as though, we are going to pay as we go year by year and not push money out, not kick the can, so to speak. And Brian straight up blamed the pandemic, saying that, the pandemic came along, the salary cap shrank for the first time, and the Packers had to maybe not scramble, but they had to adjust how they operate, and they are still dealing with the repercussions of that adjustment. Now, the big media money kicks in a couple years, and hopefully that changes the tune and how they are operating. All these contracts with void years, a way to keep guys in the fold, but certainly that bill comes due eventually. It'll be interesting to see how Brian and Russ Ball manage the cap over the course of not only this offseason, but the next two off seasons prior to that expected big bump in the cap. Other than that, Brian talked a lot, said very little. We'll see him hopefully next week at the Combine. But outside of that, that's it for Brian Gutekunst and the 2021 Packers. Clearly, he was asked, one other kind of note here, he was asked about the disappointing end and if what was missing from the Packers and why they can't get over the hump. And I thought his answer to that was pretty on point regarding, the idea that there is one player or one position that is just, they're that close if they just add this one guy. He dismissed that notion, I think rightly, and said they just need to play better in those big moments. And you can't look at the last 2 years and not agree with that assessment. When you arrive at the moment where it's win or go home, your best players, your team, which is supposed to be the best, has to play its best. We'll see what kind of team Russ, and the Packers put together for 2022 and if they are able to get over that hump. In the meantime, keep it here on Cheesehead TV for all the latest on the green and gold. Hit like, hit subscribe, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.